Hi, thank you for speaking with us today, So-Yan. So my first question for you is, why is International Women's Day important to you?
Well, Renee, International Women's Day is always something that a time to reflect, a time to really think about my position in this world, how I could make a change, especially in nursing and in the people, for the women that are coming behind me in nursing, how I can help.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really great response. So who are some of the women that you look up to in your life, either personally or in your career?
Well, I have to tell you, um, I really looked up to my grandma, who who I didn't get to know very much, but she lived through the wars. She raised not only my father, but two of my sisters. Um, ran from an oppressive government. So the resiliency, the just the value that she instilled in us is very important. I'll treasure it forever.
Yeah, that's really great that you have a lot of women that you can look up to.
Hmm.
So this year's theme is break the bias. What are some of the gender biases when it comes to women in the nursing profession?
Well, I think there are many. One is that we are just we don't have the knowledge to advocate. We're not in the policy and influential realms of the health system, but we're changing that. So I think it's important that we continue in the journey with RNAO to advocate for change and influence the health system, not only in Ontario, but in globally.
What are some of the challenges that women of color, in particular Asian women, face in the nursing profession?
That's a really great question. Just maybe I can start with a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Asia, came to Canada in my teenage years, and I was educated and here and been nursing for over 31 years. I've raised a family and I'm now in a leadership role in nursing. So I have been lots of opportunities, and International Women's Day is an excellent opportunity for me to reflect on my journey. Um, and in my reflection, I do know that there are many, many bias um, about Asian women in particular, but Asian women leaders in particular. Um, there are perceptions out there because of our background, upbringing, and culture values. We tend to be perceived as more quiet, hardworking, high achievers. These could be very unconscious in the minds of our own minds as well as other people's minds. We tend to value, for example, nonverbal communication, harmony in relationships, respect authorities. These virtues and characteristics might work against us in the context of the Western leadership society, where explicit verbal communications, speaking up, passionate confrontation are signs of power and leadership. So in my reflection, it's very important that we understand where we fit in our own context and how is these background work for us or against us. So combating these biases and continuously learn and to improve are very important. That's one of my many reasons why I joined RNAO and became a board of directors. Um, I I learn constantly from great nursing leaders like Doris Greenspan, how she is such a fierce, powerful advocate for health and nursing. And I, it also helped me to move myself out of the comfort zone, to speak out, to advocate. Also, in this position from my journey, I could be a much better nurse. That's the good side of coming from these vulnerable journeys in the past, on my background, because of my experience as an immigrant or as Asian woman. I can definitely empathize and care for and about our communities. And I could speak for and also speak about the health equity issues, for example.
So you spoke a little bit about being on RNAO's board of directors. So what is RNAO doing to help break the bias in nursing?
Well, I don't think you have the time to listen to all the things that we've been doing, but some of the things that we've been doing, for example, forming the Black Nurses Task Force, that really is something that it's groundbreaking. Speaking out about racism in nursing is something that is a conversation that we need to continue. It's so important. Racism in anywhere is unacceptable, but racism in nursing is particularly harmful because it's not only harmful to the service providers, nurses, but also harmful for our clients, our patients, our communities. We have to stand up and speak against it, to make changes in our systems, to combat these unconscious or conscious stereotypes, biases, and racism, sexism.
Thank you so much. Yeah, RNAO is definitely doing a lot to combat this. And then my last question for you is, what advice would you have for Asian nursing students for coming into the profession?
That's a great question. I have to tell you, I have 3 children, and one of which is a nurse. I'm very, very proud of that. So it's very special for me to think about nursing, how it has enriched not only my life, but my offspring, my next generation. So it does have a very special place in my heart. So my advice, many advice. One advice is to not only understand, reflect on your special position in the world in nursing, and also if you don't have already, find a mentor for you that you could trust, that you could bounce ideas off, reflect with, and also to have a shoulder to cry on, to support you, because the journey in nursing is so intertwined with our life. It's not something that we could just lock the door at the end of our workday to just go home to our families. There are a lot of intersections because nursing is life, is a human human journey. So it intertwines with our roles in life as a mother, as an advocate for our own communities, as a parent. So don't do it alone. That's my advice. Do it with a mentor, a partner that you trust, a peer. So that is one of my many advice to my nurse child right now.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for offering that advice. So those are the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.